Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Mr. and Lady, it's your boy Germ. It's kinetic aesthetic time. I wish I could have that regular energy I do, the exuberance and shit, but I don't think it's really necessary for today's topic. There's been another one, another unfortunate tragedy, and again, it's been an unfortunate tragedy that has come at the expense of innocent fucking children. There was a school shooting in Nashville, Tennessee. I believe it was yesterday. Am I correct, Ian? By the way, Ian is here with me.
How
Everybody
you
say
doing,
hello to
everybody?
Ian.
Yes,
Show him the
it
respect. Sir.
was yesterday morning, I think around 10 o'clock.
Yep. And a 28-year-old woman, where we can get more into the shooter's identification and their whole makeup later. They just decided to go into a school. They walked into the side of a school. I believe they worked there. From what I was researching when I saw it, I still need to verify that. I saw that the woman actually worked at this school and and that was part of the motive. She to work there. She used to go to that school as a child herself. But either way, she goes in there with two ARs and just starts shooting fucking kids. She ended up killing three children. She killed three members of the faculty, a principal, a janitor, and again, three innocent fucking children. And then she was thankfully brought down by law enforcement. There's, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse at this point by just coming in here and even starting to go on a rant about how we need gun control, about how we need to get more mental health checks for people that own guns. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse by saying any of that. We continuously are in this endless loop. Tragedy happens. We have we have people on one side blaming people who are gun nuts, blaming just the fact that our weak gun control, and then we have the people on the other side who, and this is going to come into play on this case in particular, they find any fucking outlier reason, anything about that person that they can just point at and say, no, 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 it wasn't the gun. It was this. It was this about this specific person. It was this thing that they had that made them such a danger to society. It wasn't it like and we need to keep the guns because those people need to be able we need regular people to be able to stop them, which almost never, because I'm sure there have been stories and I'm sure there have been people who have probably prevented greater tragedies by having weapons on them. But they go through the same fucking bullet points. Now, before I start to talk about the shooter, Ian, I'm gonna pause right here. What are your thoughts so far? How are you feeling about this shit?
Uh, you know, I think anybody would say that it's definitely that's something that, the tragedy and um, just shouldn't happen. Just shouldn't happen, especially when it comes to children.
That's the part that's crazy. It feels like these spree shooters, they're getting bolder and bolder, and they're just trying to shock people more and more. It's like they know that everybody's shooting up high school, so I'm gonna be the motherfucker that shoots up in elementary school.
Yeah.
For lack of a better way, I hate to like phrase it in those terms, but it's just like they're trying to just outdo the last motherfucker.
I mean, yeah, that's, and obviously I'm not an expert, right? But there are people out there who do these kinds of things trying to basically one up someone else. And obviously that's not the case with every situation,
Exactly.
right? But,
They
you know,
one thing I have noticed, and I remember this from every time I've done research or I've had to every single time this shit happens, I feel like I end up searching up what the fuck causes this and what caused them. I remember I first noticed it with Cho Sung Wee, the Virginia Tech shooter. There is this reverence that these killers they all manage to get every single time because you look back at the Boston bombings. They put that motherfucker on the magazine cover of Time magazine. It was either Time or it was something. He was either on Time or he was on Rolling Stone. They put these killers in positions of fame and infamy. They do everything, and I'm not saying that they do it on purpose because I really don't want to believe that these magazines are doing this shit because they want people to do this. But they put these people in these, they put them on pedestals, for lack of a better term. They give
Mm-hmm.
them, like I said, the fame, they give them the attention, they give them what they were seeking. And then other people who are sick in the fucking head, who really need to see a therapist, or I'm not going to say what they need to do, but who really need to go check themselves, they see that shit and they say, you know what? I feel like I'm not getting any attention in my life. I feel like I'm being ignored. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go do what they did because their lives may have sucked, but they live forever now. For lack of a better term, everybody is always going to remember Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, y'all. Porch dog is acting up. Porch dog, porch dog,
Dog.
and the whole world knows about porch dog.
Like that man's a whole legend.
I just made him. I just literally. He's gonna live forever now. But I just want to get back on track. Now, I said all this and I wanted to just pause before I went further because I don't know if you had known this, Ian. From what I'm reading, from what I'm seeing, the shooter actually is a trans woman.
Somebody at work told me that, I think.
And
Yeah, I did.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I shuddered when I first read that because I already know what's gonna happen now. I know
Oh yeah.
exactly what's about to happen. I know exactly how they're gonna try to spin this. You're already seeing it. You can search it right now. There are already Republican lawmakers in Congress in Washington who are trying to turn this into a gender rights issue, who are trying to turn this into a this is why we don't fuck with trans people type thing. And I just want to take the time right now to say, fuck every single one of those people. Fuck their life. Fuck their soul. Fuck their existence. I'm I'm not gonna sit here and try to act like I'm the biggest LGBTQ like I go so hard for them and I'm not gonna act like I go to pride parades and everything like that. But even I am at a point now where I'm just getting tired of motherfuckers that are really so worried about motherfuckers who are literally just living their lives and existing.
People are miserable. They ain't got nothing else better to do.
I I've never understood it. And I don't know if I've talked about this before. I've never understood the African American community. Black my people. This is just a little off topic. This is a little crazy. I don't understand how we can be so against trans people. This is completely off topic, and I'm gonna just say that there's a whole video that I could go on about that in itself. I might do that. I feel like that's inspired me just to make that type of video. But to get back on topic, I don't. I really just hate because trans people are already fighting for so much right now. You know, motherfuckers is really trying to repeal. Like they're trying to do everything they can to make life hell for them.
Oh yeah.
And I hate I hate identity politics. I hate it because I already understand, black people sometimes having to feel like when one nigga makes a mistake, all of a sudden everybody's judged for it. Or we all have to answer for it. When the riots happen, motherfuckers looking at every black person like, what's wrong? What's going on? Why is this happening? Like we all just have some type of fucking group thought.
Yeah.
But that is what's about to happen because these Republican lawmakers, they're already doing it. They've already shown that they will stoop that low. This is going to become just another fucking big talking point for them every time when it comes to trans rights. They're gonna somehow it'll be about the most mundane shit about a trans person wanting to exist. You remember what happened? What about all those innocent children who lost their lives? And we're going to ignore all the shit that could have actually prevented it. But we're gonna ignore the fact that you know what that might have been an angry motherfucker who was always gonna plan on hurting somebody. They were able to do so much more just based off the fact like this motherfucker they were stockpiling weapons. Stockpiling. When are we going to get to a point where we all as a country just come to a realization nobody should even have to be nobody should be able to stockpile weapons.
Well, you know what they say. That's an infringement on people's amendment right.
And you're right. And this goes back to what we just talked about this shit the other day. We just talked about this. It's motherfuckers that are holding us back. Lack of a better term, motherfuckers is holding us back. We are we're just in a fucked up spot right now, y'all. I don't know any other way to say it. I don't know any other way to do it, but I'm tired. Me personally, I'm fucking tired. I'm tired of it just like and the crazy thing about it is we're all going to we're all going to for lack of a better term, we're going to forget about this shit by next month, by a month and a half at most. Motherfuckers will have moved on because there's going to be something else. There's going to be some other big tragedy. There's going to be some other big shooting, some fucked up thing that happens.
Yep.
I keep I always think about how motherfuckers say we're the only country in the world that in the free world, in the Western world, where this shit happens at this frequency, just this often. And I just I really only have one other thing I can even ask motherfuckers that's listening to this. If you are one of those people that's so gung ho on gun rights, at what point is it like okay we just gotta try to protect people, we gotta find some type of compromise? At what point do you understand you're not really protecting anything worth protecting? That's my question. How many more times do I have to record this type of video? This is the third fucking response to a mass shooting episode I've done. There's been more than that, but this is the third one that I've actually felt, probably fourth, that I've actually had to like come out and just like I just feel the need to talk about it. It's like I said earlier, these fucking spree killers are getting bolder and bolder. That's the thing about the world net right now. We have so much recorded history and we're able to document so much. The motherfuckers that are crazy, that are plotting to do the evil, they're seeing what's working and what's not. They're seeing what's getting motherfuckers' attention and what's not. Something has to change. Something has got to fucking change. Ian, do you have any last thoughts?
Um, Government needs to get better with gun control.
Better gun control. We've been asking for it for feels like forever now. Eventually, oh,
And it's funny that we're talking about this because I actually just saw a video on TikTok. Uh, fucking, what's his name? Jon Stewart,
mhm.
the guy who hosts the Jon Stewart show. He was actually in a debate with a guy who's, he's the whole it's my right to bear arms, yada yada yada. Gun control is an infringement of my rights, about yada yada yada. And Jon Stewart, you know, use logic and reason, the two very basic things when it comes to those kind of people, right?
Right.
Um, and basically, the guy's stance was he's one of those people who says the gun isn't dangerous. And you said this earlier. The gun isn't dangerous. It's the person that's holding it, right?
Right.
Which obviously, right, holds truth. Uh, You know, if you sit a gun down on the table, it's not gonna get up and shoot someone, right? It has to be somebody has to be holding it. However, that doesn't negate the fact that it's still a dangerous weapon.
Exactly.
And in the hands of the wrong person, we see what happens. So, and basically his stance was the person, yes, the person is dangerous, but they should still be able to have their guns. That was basically his stance. And Jon Stewart was like, "You sound like a fucking idiot. Like you know what I mean? Like you sound like an idiot.
Big fact.
Yeah, this person might be dangerous, with the gun, but he still has a right to have it. You know what I mean? And basically, John Stewart was like, you agree that people are dangerous with these weapons, and yet you don't believe that gun control should be better, should be tighter. You don't believe in gun control at all, but for the sake of the specificities of the argument, you don't believe that it should be increased. It should be better background checks,
Mm-hmm.
you know, all that kind of stuff. And he's like, no, I don't believe that those things should be a thing. And because of those kinds of people, we're at where we're at. Look at, I could use the example of COVID, right?
And we were just talking about this as well. How if
Yeah.
we would
The
have just,
reason the reason why it's still the reason why it's still around is because people there's a certain number in the population that's not following CDC guidelines and not doing the things that they need to do to keep themselves safe.
mm-hmm. I feel like there are some people who just, for whatever reason, they just have it in them to where they never will trust the government, regardless of how simple some shit is that they're telling them, regardless of how fucking like I don't understand what people thought the government was really going to gain out of this. There's always some big brother ass plot at play for these motherfuckers.
Hmm.
I
And
just
honestly, it's sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna let you finish after that.
No, you good.
I just do not understand because there are some people that they'll always think that there's like a bigger. They just don't really respect the fact that some shit just happens.
Hmm.
It's like they believe that everything is by design, that there's some big fucking NWO Illuminati thing at play that just they control everything. There's no such thing as human nature. I finish to say what you was gonna say. It's I could go on and on about the fucking conspiracy theorists because they're annoying.
I was just gonna say, um, yeah, back to the point that like, people thinking that there's something bigger going on. I wouldn't even honestly, I wouldn't even go that far. I mean, it's true, right? But I know that I guarantee you, there's a lot of people out there who, and I met these kind of people who just, for whatever reason, whatever, I don't even want to say whatever's popular, right? But I'll say whatever they think is the group mentality, they automatically want to go against it.
Yep. They have to be contrarians. And I say this as somebody that tries to be a contrarian. I try to always look at like I keep myself open to a contrarian opinion. But the people you're talking about take it to an extreme.
Mm,
They are the type of motherfuckers to where if everybody's going left, they just have it in their brain that there must be some big plot. There must be some form. There must be somebody that's just making everybody go left, and there must be something that's right that they just have to see. It's like people that believe the Earth is flat.
yeah.
It's just some. I don't even want to call them dumb. That's mean. But it's some silly motherfuckers out there in the world,
Oh yeah.
and that's just what it is, man. But it's like you said. It's so frustrating because they hold us back because in this free world that we live in, these motherfuckers have votes, they have voting power, and they help impact the decisions that we make as a free society. In a lot of ways, that's fucking us up. I'll be the first one to say it.
Oh yeah.
But to leave on a positive note, sort of spin it on a positive note to end it, I do want to say that I feel like it's getting better. I feel like as we go forward, as we go further more and more in time, there comes a certain point where you just can't ignore certain bullshit.
Yeah.
And I like to think that the younger generations are starting to notice these things more and more. So I'm hoping that we'll see change. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we just got to get these old motherfuckers out.
And you just got to
I
remember,
hate to say,
and this,
I hate to say it like that, but
you're right. No, you're right. But I also want to say this, and I'm gonna end it on this. You got to remember, them old motherfuckers. They have kids. They reproduce, and they teach them same kids that same bullshit that they be pushing. It's a
yeah,
long battle. Shit ain't gonna be over in my lifetime. But all we got to do is keep fighting the good fight. You know what I'm saying?
feel you. I feel you.
That's been Kinetic Aesthetic, everybody. I want to say I appreciate y'all so damn much for tuning in, for coming in and checking in with me and my boy Ian. Ian, you got anything you want to say to the people?
Uh, Same thing. Thank you for tuning in. It's always a pleasure.
And we love to have you. Make sure that you like, follow, subscribe, do whatever it is you got to do to keep in tune with me and my content. And you do that on whatever streaming platform that you're listening to me in on. Other than that, make sure you check out everybody that I got listed in the bio on this here episode. Those are my affiliates. They mean the world to me. And other than that, thank you for all tuning in. Thank you to everybody from all over the world, from all the other countries, from Europe, Australia. I don't know how y'all are finding me. Africa. I appreciate you. And other than that, just have a blessed rest of
All
your
global.
day. An even better rest of your tomorrow. Ain't that right, Ian?
Yes, sir.